Larry Pennell joins us now to take a look at the papers while we'll still continue to talk about the African Nations Championship. And again, Larry, we're waiting for the second semi-final game. Expecting some fireworks?
Definitely, we will get just as we got yesterday. It's a pleasure to be in the studio. Fantastic game we saw yesterday. Brilliant equalizer in the last minute, and that sort of broke DR Congo's back. But but they came back into it strongly in the penalty. The goalkeeper made a fantastic save, and as many pundits have predicted that DR Congo is one of the strongest teams in this tournament, along with Tunisia, who have fallen off, that they deservedly they're in the final. So we can't get. We hope to see which other West African country will join them in today's game.
Cote d'Ivoire and Mali. But I love the fact that even when they considered that late goal, it did not really demoralize them. They were able to, bounce back and won on penalties. That's the spirit.
Definitely. Don't forget that it looks like they are the host of this tournament because of the proximity.
That's right.
DR Congo, they share just a border. DR Congo and Rwanda. And even when they played Rwanda, you saw the supporters that converged on the stadium massive. So you would expect that the home team now will have adopted them, even though DR Congo dumped Rwanda out of that tournament, so to speak. But we knew from the first game that they were the favorites. I mean, you have Motemba
Nigeria was actually favorite.
AS Vita, and of course TP Mazembe. Those are big teams in the African standards.
It's as if we were just watching the Champions League.
Exactly. Very, very true.
Okay, we'll start with the Sporting Sun. Okay. All right. This one. Okay. The big one is Chan 2016 fallout. NFF orders Olise to shut up. Then Eagles coach recalls Moses for Egypt ties, 6th venue change. That's the big one. Then you have just other three there that I actually love. Everton were able to end their losing streak and, of course, winless streak and draw streak to beat Everton, to beat Newcastle 3-0. And Barcelona against Valencia, not a good one for Gary Neville 7-0. And, of course, Igalo fires blank. All from Sporting.
While Cecilia was busy going round and round, Larry cannot just wait to talk about that shut-up.
I mean, like, what do you think about the gag order?
I don't know. This is too harsh. That's why I'm like, okay, let me bring other ones.
Couldn't wait.
Let me bring other ones. I mean, the other bigger ones. This is very harsh.
Shut-up story.
Let's talk about the shut-up story.
Let's talk about the gag.
How do I put it now? Well, that's sensationalism, first of all, because there was no part of the release or the interview by Barrister Chris Green that he should shut up. But if you read through what the interview,
is that element of shut up?
It was more of like, keep quiet and do this work. You're talking too much. And really, Olise needs to behave a little more maturely when dealing with NFF, the players, and the media. Even Barrister Chris Green himself needs to also watch it. He didn't need to tell us that Amonike and Siasia and the Namibia team, they went on to win titles without being paid and all of that.
Because that's not the right thing.
Because that is not the right thing. Yeah. So in other words, Barrister Chris Green is telling us that NFF, that's supposed to be the right framework, the right structure for Nigerian football, the right template for Nigerian football to follow. Meaning, you owe your coaches, you owe the players, they struggle, and then they win titles. That shouldn't be the right template. And for Olise, I think he would have learned his lesson from Chan. And going forward, hopefully, we'll be able to defeat Egypt home and away, which is where the battle lies. So all these are just distractions, really.
What about this seeking of venue change from supposed to be Kaduna, right?
You know Kaduna actually had issues the last time, and that resulted in Enyama's tiff with NFF at that point in time. They have their own issues apart from weather, logistics of getting to the airport. There's no major international airport. So players coming in, and Olise had the point there, players coming in from outside. On Sunday, for instance, the Sunday before the game with Egypt, Onazi will actually be playing for Lazio that Sunday. Iheanacho will be playing in Man City Derby that Sunday. They will likely travel maybe Sunday night or Monday. They need to connect a part of Nigeria where there's an international airport.
Like Abuja.
So like Abuja. So it means they have to go to Abuja and then find a connecting flight to Kaduna or go by road. That means one more day before the game. So that was what Olise was talking about. That, you know, apart from
NFF can actually
the
make
weather
the provision. I mean, once they fly in, they could just be a standby flight. I mean, they can have a standard flight.
Players coming from different parts of the
they can have
NFF.
To just
and then they just wait and they will charter a flight.
NFF that has a template of
Cecilia.
NFF that buys Chris
no,
being said.
they can actually do it. They just have a chartered flight waiting.
But the
say
thing
that
about
money,
the thing about chartered flight
They can
is
have
the thing
that.
about chartered flight is everybody's on ground. But players are coming in from
Yeah.
different parts,
times.
Turkey, different times. So you
That
cannot
would be
just
very
station.
difficult. What if they
very,
get
very
a
difficult.
chopper from the...
I mean, Larry, what
They don't have
about?
that money.
Larry, what if they get...
This NFF that said that they are broke.
Yeah, there's a rider. There's a
They
rider on
can't
that
get a
story,
chopper
Larry.
that can just...
A chopper that will be ferrying on
Exactly,
players.
as they're coming in. and all
Okay.
that. No, they can actually make it simpler for them.
Celia, come on, let's just move on. There's a rider on that story that says Victor Moses is actually being recalled for these 2 games. What do you think about
Yeah,
that?
they asked Olise a question, what does he think about Victor Moses? And he said all players are eligible, provided you're playing regularly for your club, apart from those who have retired from active football. By retirement, I'm sure he's referring to
Emenike
and Enyama. Yes.
Okay. Okay, I talked about the Barcelona whitewashing of Valencia.
Yeah.
Why?
Why what? They're
What
trying to
is
get to
why?
the final.
That's why.
It's a semi-final.
trying to get to
both
the
of them
final,
Copa
yeah.
del Rey, and both of them actually in the top flight. You're not playing the second division
You know,
side.
I
It's the semi-final.
envy.
First leg. It's
I don't
going to be a
envy
second leg, so you don't need
Valencia's
this
coach,
7 goal.
Gary Neville. He used to be a pundit, just like us, and then we started
Just like-
thinking,
okay,
joking, maybe just like me, and then
Okay.
I started thinking I can
Never
coach,
coach.
and
Please
then
don't
now
do it.
did Gary Neville? Okay, I should not do it so that
Yeah,
I don't
don't
receive
do it.
7-0 bashing.
Exactly.
But anyways, the first game he played when he came to Spain was against Barcelona, and he played a 2-2 draw.
yeah.
And you know they thought, oh, Gary Neville, he can hold Barcelona and all of that. And ever since, he hasn't even won in the league. He has won in the Copa del Rey,
Yeah,
but not in
totally.
the league. And then the 7-0 bashing. And now, for me, I just want Arsenal to take a sick leave against Barcelona and say, oh, we're not coming for this UCL game. Seriously.
That's
Because-
not pretty at all.
No,
That's
Arsenal
not
fans won't be happy
That's
right
not
now
pretty.
anyway. But how do you stop? No, Messi scored 3 yesterday.
Yeah.
Suarez
Suarez
scored
scored
4. Neymar
Yeah,
didn't even get
you know,
on the
You know, he
shit.
has scored a hat-trick in 3 different competitions
How do
this
you
season.
defend with a Matosaka and a Koscielny?
So you're saying Arsenal should not turn up? Come
Arsenal
on.
can
They've
just
gotta
say,
turn up.
hey, hands up.
They've got to turn
hands
up.
up.
Come on.
That's what I think. 7-0.
Wow, let's go to the sports day now. And the biggest story here for me is about Igalo and Mikel playing goalless yesterday. Did you see yesterday's
It was
match?
a brilliant game. It was a fantastic match. End-to-end stuff. First half, it was Watford all over Chelsea.
Watford, yeah.
The movement was brilliant. At the time, I thought, is this Barcelona that is playing? Chelsea allowed them time and space on the ball and all of that. Igalo and Dini wonderful partnership and all of that. They just couldn't score.
they were so
Particularly the header that
Igalo,
Igalo
he
tried
took his
to,
eye
but he
off the
couldn't.
ball.
He took his eye off the ball. Couldn't connect with that. Thibaut Courtois made a lot of saves. In the
Yes.
second half, Chelsea turned the game on. Hazard came in. It was great to see Diego Costa being Diego Costa. Got a couple of chances
pushing
and all
players
of that.
all over the place.
And Hurelu Gomez was man of the
That's
match
right,
deservedly
that's
because
right,
he made a
that's
whole
right.
lot of saves in that game.
Okay, that's another very interesting one for me here. It's about Ronaldo making Zidane angry. Like, what do you think of the power dynamic between arguably the greatest of all time, Zidane, and someone that has earned the right to be in that talk as well?
It's basically about Ronaldo making weekly trips, not weekly now, once in 2 weeks, trips to Morocco to see his friend, the kickboxer, Bache Harry, you know, and Zidane is telling him, you can't be going to Morocco from Spain. Although you may say Spain and Morocco share borders because of the proximity and all of that. It's just like going from Badagry to Seme and across the border to Cotonou, something like that. But he's saying you need to stop all of this. You're going to see a guy, not even a lady, a guy in Morocco every 2 weeks, kickboxing, fine, you guys are childhood friends, but you need to reduce this and concentrate on your football.
That's right.
Ronaldo seems to be distracted by so many things, and that is why Zidane is angry. He's not saying be like Messi, but he's just saying, why don't you just focus on your football? Enjoy life as it is. But you're modeling here, you're doing advertisement there, you're talking about how to look GQ, you know, the sexy man. There's too much going on.
That's the
That's Ronaldo for you.
That's the package
exactly.
Ronaldo brings.
And that's why Real Madrid
is
actually
saying,
got him.
you can even be a much better footballer. Focus on this football. You can be the greatest. Focus on this
But
football.
he's scoring goals.
He is, no doubt about
He's
that.
scoring
But
goals.
he can be
That's his
better.
lifestyle. I
Yeah,
think
that's
if
right.
you take that away for Cristiano
Very
Ronaldo,
true.
he may not be a Cristiano
I
Ronaldo.
agree
Because
with
if
you.
you go to his Instagram page and see the pictures, I mean,
True that.
every time he gets back, you see the picture of his mother, the boy, I mean, his son, and everybody. You know, it's always there with his
True that.
private
I
jet
agree
and
with
all.
you.
I mean, he's
True
a
that.
show boy,
True
and
that.
that's
But
what
there's
he
nothing
gets.
wrong with the coach telling you, look, I want
Absolutely
this and I
nothing,
want
yeah.
this. There's
Absolutely
nothing wrong
nothing
with
wrong
it.
with
That's
that.
why
Say,
he didn't want to
relax.
stay at Manchester United. But if he was in England, I mean,
Ferguson will allow.
that's
Ferguson
he
will
won't
allow.
allow
Fergie
that.
called
So
Beckham
that's
and
why-
said,
Allow.
there's a huge difference between being a model
And
and
being
a
a
footballer.
footballer.
He
So
says,
that-
guy, you're becoming a model. I want
Yeah,
to play
when-
football.
When he,
That's
when he
right.
got with Porsche and
Ronaldo, if
Spice,
you take
then-
this away from Ronaldo, he won't be a Ronaldo. That's
Very
what
true.
makes it, because
I
he
think
cannot
I
be a
agree-
Messi.
I think I agree with you.
He cannot
I think
be a
I agree
Messi
with
as
you.
well.
But for someone like Zidane, who is football,
He can tell you
football,
anything. And you must listen.
And he can also
No,
say
listen.
Zidane is a boring guy.
Nah, stop. Oh, come on. Last one on Sports Day. Real Madrid wants Yaya Toure. Is it cast in stone that he's leaving Manchester City?
is not cast in stone that is leaving Manchester City, but because of the beef, so to speak, between Guardiola and Yaya Toure.
beef, yeah.
Recall, it was Guardiola that sold Yaya Toure. And Yaya
right.
Toure was at his peak at
Yeah,
that
he was
time.
just getting
For
his
a
prime.
young Sergio Busquets was coming up.
Yeah.
So sold him to Man City, and Yaya Toure has come into his own ever since then. But right now, Guardiola is going to Man City. Can he accommodate a Yaya Toure?
Sure.
More so, his agent, that's Yaya Toure's agent, has said so many things
Yeah.
about
How his grandfather-
how his own grandfather can actually win titles in Germany, so there's no big deal. I mean,
my
Yaya
God.
Toure may need
nah.
to
But
leave.
it's a bit
going.
shame if
He's
all
going.
those EPL teams look at Yaya go to Real Madrid. Arsenal can actually have a Yaya Toure in their midfield and they'll be fine.
Can they afford him? Yaya Toure earns 250,
Yeah, 200
200
Break the
plus
bank.
now.
That's the only
Arsenal
way.
Arsenal can afford
Yeah,
him.
but
Weekly
you
wage,
can,
that's
you
where
can easily
because
see
except you
Yaya
want to
Toure
take a
go
pay
to
cut.
France.
Exactly.
If he's
Yeah,
taking a
maybe
pay cut,
PSG.
fine,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
can.
You can
Come on.
see
Yeah, I think
him
he can
go
go
there.
to PSG. They can afford him.
Yaya Toure will be fine. Come on, guys. He will be fine.
And I mean, he will speak a lot of French there also.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the complete sports newspaper now. For just emphasis, we'll read what's on the front page. This one says Nigeria versus Egypt AFCON 27 qualifier. Olise rejects Kaduna for Eagles. With the rider, NFF boss prefers Port Harcourt, and a kicker that says NFF insists on Ahmadu Bello Stadium.
Come
won't
to
talk-
a compromise.
We won't talk about that
Nah,
one.
no
We won't
need,
talk
no
about NFF told say Amunike was old, but he won the World Cup.
Doesn't make it ideal.
I would say it's not right.
But they're just saying don't give excuses when
I
you
mean,
fail.
Absolutely, that's what they're saying, yeah, because that's exactly
It's
what...
not right, but it's okay if you win it. Okay. Let's take this one that says I'm Bayern back Pep over City job, and I think it's very important that Bayern Munich comes out to say this because it's going to give Pep some bad publicity.
Very, very true about that. Very true. Matthias Sama came out to mention the fact that they knew he was going and they have to prepare for it and all of that. Who will come into Bayern now is another kettle of fish entirely. But they are prepared
know.
for
Carlo
his
is going.
Carlo is going.
Carlo Ancelotti. Is it confirmed?
Yeah, signed
They have actually said that they welcome the fact that he is actually going to Manchester City, and Manchester City. Pellegrini announced to his players in training yesterday or 2 days ago that this is the end of the road for him as far as this project is concerned. We hope to see where next he will go. Fillers are saying Chelsea or Manchester United due to the fact that they may need coaches at the end of the season. Gus Indig is interim, while Louis van Gaal is not doing such a spectacular job at Manchester United. So it's interesting that coaches transfers is even more interesting than player transfer. Pep Guardiola going
That's
this
why
way,
he stole the
Ancelotti going
headline.
that way. That's why
Deadline
he stole
day.
the headline on the deadline.
Let's just take this last one on complete sports and then we'll move on with the show. Moses, still part of Eagles, insists Nigeria coach Olise. We spoke about this one and then I said there's need for us to actually have that sort of player work rates.
Very, very true. Very true. We need all our players for that Egypt game. It's a double header. We play them here first, and then 3 days
3 days
later
after.
we go
Cairo.
We go to Cairo.
Wow.
The least we should get from that is a win and a draw. Anything short, we are not going to the Nations Cup. So let NFF know, let Olise know now. The least
Pay
we
everybody you need to
let
pay
everybody
now.
pay everybody you need to pay. That
No
template of
distractions,
owing,
no.
that template of owing Amunike and Sasa may not work for Olise. Olise is butter. Olise is Belgium based and all of that. So I'll suggest that they pay everybody, get the bonuses ready and all of that, and whatever Olise wants, just allow him, give him that
So
room,
there's
so
no
that when
room for
it's time to
excuses.
wield the big stick,
that's
you
right.
won't say, give him room. Oh, you want Port Harcourt, you want
Go to Port Harcourt.
oh, what else do you need? Give it to him. All right. So when he, which looks, so you can wield the bill stick.
Why you editing yourself, man? Come on.
I'm just saying.
I love
because
Nigerian football fans.
The list is 4 points. We are 2 points behind them. They won their first two. We are on 4 points. If we win them in Nigeria, that will take us above them. And then if we draw, we will still be
exactly.
consolidate.
Tayo and Cecilia, you guys don't just get it. See Larry saying, so that when he will.
He said it
He's
himself.
I was listening to the radio and this lady called. I said, I won't talk much. But he said, remember African Guardiola? Stop laughing.